Abba Dabby Dude! Hi everybody, this is Abba Dabby Dude! Back again with another vlog. Just on the way from Glasgow back home at the moment. So I thought I'd record some video while I was doing that. So I had a request from a friend to start discussing what it was like adjusting to life as an EV owner. I've had ICE cars all my days, and the I-Pace is my first EV. Now I decided a while ago that I wanted to buy an EV this time, because, well, various reasons, but one of them was I've been living in the Middle East for a few years, living the very excessive life of real gas guzzling cars, and I didn't want to spend that amount of money on fuel anymore. I didn't want to do that much damage with fuel anymore either. And I know it makes me sound like a bit of a tree-hugging hippie, but I want to be able to say that, I did my bit. So I bought an EV, and I really thought there would be a period where I would have to make a lot of adjustments to get used to it. I assumed range, really, let's be honest, it's the big question everyone has. And I assumed that, with a range of about 230 miles, I thought, well, most of my driving will be fine. I'll just have to make the odd adjustment. But actually, what I'm finding is that without realising it at the time, the big adjustment, the big compromise was driving a petrol engine. When I get stopped, when people come up to me to ask about the car, which happens a lot, there's three questions you get all the time. First one you get is, what is it? Because not that many people know what the I-Pace is, really. Actually, okay, 4 questions. Second question is usually, is it a hybrid? They look shocked and stunned when you say, no, it's a full EV. They go, oh, I didn't know Jaguar made full EVs. Yeah, well, they do. And then you always get the next question of, what's the range? So you tell them, and people in general are fairly impressed with that, in all honesty. They kind of go, oh wow, that's a decent range. But then they always say, how long does it take to charge? I say always, that's a slight exaggeration, but you do get asked the question a lot once you've given them the range of, well, that's not too bad, but how long does it take to charge? And what I want to say, I've come to realise, and it sounds facetious, but what I want to say is it takes 10 seconds to charge it. Which sounds stupid and ridiculous. But in reality, that is how long it takes to charge an EV. I get out of my car, in my garage, at home. I walk around to the passenger side of the car, and I plug it in. I go away and leave it. The car itself takes, depending on the state of charge, it'll take anything from 4 hours to 10 hours to charge up, depending on what its charge level is when you plug it in. But my point is that people think that's a bad thing. People say, oh, 10 hours to recharge though, that's terrible. But of course, it's not 10 hours to recharge. I mean, it is 10 hours to recharge, but you're not sitting there waiting on it. You're in the house having dinner, watching TV, playing PlayStation. You're not sitting there watching it, waiting for it to charge. So I actually find it is way more convenient, even than a petrol vehicle. A petrol vehicle fills up in 5-10 minutes, including paying and stuff. 5 minutes is probably about the minimum. If you have to wait a minute, a couple of minutes for a pump, could be up to 10 minutes. But the point is that you do have to stand there while that's happening. That is time out of your day spent on that refueling process. So I'm actually finding, as long as you do less than, let's say less than 200 miles a day, which most people do, you never have to spend time charging your car. You have to plug it in every night, or depending on how much you do, but you have to plug it in at nights. I tend to plug it in normally every 3 or 4 days, probably. If I do a longer drive, I'll plug it in every day. But that's 10 seconds. I'll get home now, I'll plug the car in, I'll go away. When I get up in the morning, it will be charged up to about 90%, because that's generally where I charge it to, about somewhere between 80 and 90%. So there's no big epic process to that. It just happens invisibly while you're doing other stuff. If you're doing more than 200 miles a day, then the charging becomes an issue. Then you're looking for a DC fast charger, and you're looking at, again, depending on how far you go between stops, but anything up to, I would say an hour would be your worst case. You're not going to run it down to 0% before you go and find the DC charger. So assuming you run it down to 10 to 20% and then charge it up to about 80%, you're more or less looking at an hour on a rapid charger then. But if you plan more frequent stops, you can actually stop, and plug it in for 20 minutes, half an hour, have a coffee, go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, half an hour, come back. Okay, you've not got a full charge, but you've got enough to get you to, the next stop, an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road, whatever. So it's not as big a deal. I think when you stop for petrol, I think people don't realise you tend to spend more time at the petrol station than you think you do. Not everybody. I know some people, or sales reps, people like that, do tend to stop, put the fuel in and go. But what I usually tend to do is I'll stop, fill up with fuel. There's 5 minutes on a good day. Fill up with fuel, go and park the car, another couple of minutes, then go in, get a coffee, have a break, go to the toilet, and that's easily, the whole process, including the fuel stop, is easily half an hour on a good day, and that's enough time to get a decent charge in. So you can actually charge really kind of without impacting upon your journey at all. If you want to charge it right up, then yeah, you might have to take an extra 10-15 minutes, then maybe more, half an hour. But it's not as big a deal as people seem to think. However, for me, I very, very rarely, I've had the car for over 3 months now, and I've never exceeded the range. I've always operated within the range of the car, so to me it's a non-issue completely. But for the odd occasion where I do a long trip, I'm willing to trade off the convenience that I have every day of my life from charging it up at home for that one occasional trip where I might have to spend an extra 20 minutes at a service station, but the beauty I have is I never ever have to leave for work 10 minutes early anymore because I've got to stop for petrol. That will never happen to me now. When you consider that how often you're not having to do that occasional long trip with a slightly longer service station break really isn't that big an issue for me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I have found that I have very, very quickly got used to the whole EV driving experience. I absolutely love it. Honestly, it just... some of it's not just EVs, some of it is the I-Pace, because it is a beautiful car to drive, but a lot of it is EV specific. The fact that there's no gears, there's no power band, there's no if you want to overtake somebody, oh, better drop down a gear, get it into the power range, accelerate. Okay, now I'm going. You don't have to worry about that. You just hit the pedal and it goes, and it does that whatever speed you're doing. You know, there's no lag, no delay, no power band. It's just instant torque straight away, and that is, it's very hard to describe until somebody's experienced it for themselves. And then, you know, once you've experienced it, you get it, you know, but it takes a bit of time to experience it and get used to it. But once you've had that for a little while, the notion of going back to that whole, it just feels like so much work for very little gain. To be honest, obviously the quietness is a huge thing. It is so joyous to drive along at 70, like we're doing now. Actually, we're driving at 66 at the moment, but you know, and it's just quiet. There's a bit of wind noise and a bit of tyre noise, but really it's very little. It has, you know, very little effect. You really do feel like you're floating almost. It's a beautiful sensation. You know, and what else? I mean, that's about it. I'm loving the IPace gadgets, cruise, steer assist, and adaptive cruise control. You know, I mean, I'm on the motorway at the moment, and really the car's doing all the work. I'm having to keep my hands on the wheel, and I'm having to monitor it, you know, and make sure it doesn't do anything stupid. But really, it's brilliant, you know. And I know it's not just EVs that have that. A lot of petrol cars have it now as well. But you know, it's an added bonus. It is. It just takes a lot of the stress out of the boring bits of the drive. I mean, I enjoy driving. Stick me on a back road, I want to drive manually. But motorways are boring. Motorways are when I want to be able to focus a bit less and let the car take over some of the noise, because it's not fun. It's not a fun drive a motorway. So yeah, I love that aspect of it. And yeah, I mean, honestly, there is very little adjustment to be made for driving an EV. Well, there are adjustments to make, but they're all positive adjustments, if that makes sense. There's very little that I find irritating about having an EV, and the one potential thing which I haven't really had to deal with yet is if I go for a 400 or 500 mile drive someday, then that's going to take me a bit longer probably, and that will require a bit more pre-planning, say, and a bit more thinking ahead, and it will probably take a bit longer for the journey. But that's such a rare event. I think you have to offset that against all the pluses that the EV brings of, you know, 95% of the year, shall we say, I don't have to worry about refueling my car. It's only on those long drives. So yeah, the adjustment has been very, very small. I'm finding it a completely pleasant experience, and I'm amazed that more people don't do it. I know they're still expensive, but I am amazed that more people aren't getting themselves into the whole EV system, because there's some much more affordable ones out there. I mean, if I wasn't looking for a car of the I-Pace type price tag, you know, I would probably go out and buy a Hyundai Kona. I think they're fabulous looking little cars. I haven't driven one, but you know, it's got great range. It's a very well equipped car. You know, it's a good car, and it's, you know, okay, it's still on the pricey side. I don't know what you could, well, there'll be no used ones out yet, but you know, it is still on the pricey side. But a lot of people spend that amount of money on a car and don't even consider an EV, and that now that I've had one, I'm a complete convert, and I find going back to petrol is quite an unpleasant experience, if I'm honest. I don't particularly enjoy it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on EV ownership so far. I mean, I've only had it 3 months. I'll get back to you once I've done a longer trip. I very, very rarely do them. Occasionally have a business trip if I have to go down south for a course. But that's really about it. I mean, most of my drives are within 200 miles, so I think the closest I'll come to that limit of the car on a more regular basis, if you like, is going somewhere and not having enough power to get back, so having to find somewhere to charge when I get there, that kind of thing, is more of the situation I'm likely to find myself in. Even that will be rare, but I think that's going to be more common than the whole, you know, having to find 2 chargers en route to somewhere, you know. I think normally I'll have enough range to get to where I'm going, but not necessarily enough to get back again if I'm doing those long drives and maybe up to the north of Scotland for a day out, something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that experience goes, but as I say, I haven't actually done that yet, so I'll need to get back to you on that one. So yeah, there we go. Just a few random thoughts as I drive home. Let me know in the comments below what you think about what I've said. Have you got an EV? How do you feel about it? Do you agree with what I've said, or do you find it's a bigger adjustment than I'm finding? Leave a comment down below. I do try and respond to all my comments, so feel free to start a discussion down there somewhere. If you have enjoyed this video, then please click on the thumbs up. And if you're enjoying my channel, which has now become pretty much an IPace vlog channel exclusively, if you are enjoying my channel, then please click on the subscribe button, and it's very helpful for my channel for people to subscribe. It's also very helpful to get the thumbs up. If you're enjoying the video, click on the thumbs up. That also helps me a lot and gets the channel a bit more exposure and gets me noticed a bit more. Also, if you do subscribe, don't forget to click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So that's pretty much it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then hopefully I'll see you again for the next one. And until next time, this is Abu Dhabi Dude saying take care, see you soon, bye-bye. Bye. Abu Dhabi Dude!